Hey friends, I am sitting with someone who I love a lot, and her name is Kelly O'Dell Stanley. And one of the things that I know about Kelly is that she is passionate about prayer. And she has a new book, and I think there's only one copy that's been birthed in the world because it's about to be launched.
It is launched, but it's hard to forget right now. But
Yeah, this pandemic, but it's on its way. It's on its way. It's called Insta Prayer, Prayers to Share. And, Kelly, like I said, the one thing I know about you is that you're passionate about prayer. And can you tell me where that passion was birthed in you?
yeah, God showed me as I kind of came into my faith as an adult. I was fortunate enough to be involved in a church that was all about prayer. And I got to watch all these amazing, powerful women pray, and just with an intimacy and a depth that I had never imagined was even possible. And so it made me sort of start exploring and trying to discover what that could look like, what it looked like to me. And along the way, I saw all of my own failings. Every time I would step back, every time I would start to have doubts, every time something would go not the way I hoped it would go, I felt myself stumble. But what I discovered, I'm a graphic designer and a writer, I'm a creative, and every time I just had to try something new. So all of this came from just trying something different, trying to find a different way to get around the hurdles that I put up myself that keep me from going to God. So.
Yeah, I think we make prayer really complicated. I do. I think that we make it either totally a ritual, or something that we say a few words and then we don't necessarily feel something, but we feel like we've prayed. Or maybe we desperately, like you, see that prayer can be more than that, and we want it so bad. So, like, if you could simplify and just say, this is what prayer is, what would you say?
Communicating with God, talking to God.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's not, because we don't know how to get started sometimes, or we feel like we're not worthy of being there, or we do all these different things. We think we have to be so serious and solemn, and we have to be, very reverent, and all of those things are important, but God also created fun. And he's the creator, and I believe he has to be quirky and just, I don't know, he made all of us in his image, and some of us are more quirky than others. So I just think, he uses us in our own personalities to speak to us.
Yeah. Well, and I love that. I love that it's that simple, that it's connecting or communicating with God, because it gives me a lot of hope, because often I don't have the words to say, like there are times that I stand before God and I think, I don't have a clue. Like I'm teary right now because, we're in a pandemic. People's lives have been turned upside down. People's health. We don't know what is familiar anymore. And so prayer can feel so complicated. But the fact that you're making this just simple, like it's a connection between me and God, like brings such joy. And so I want to hear a little bit about the book, Insta Prayer, why you wrote it, how we can use it, what you hope happens because of this book.
Okay, this timing is very interesting, because the book is about prayer prompts, things to start your prayers that were designed to be shared on social media. Okay. So they're simple, short, swipe left, ask God if there's someone in your life who shouldn't be.
Oh, wow, I love that.
Pray for someone who resists rules and pushes boundaries. It's just all of these, just little short things to sort of get us started, because and the point of prayer, obviously prayer first and foremost is connecting with God. So this isn't about like putting forth this perfect holy image online, but it's just about starting that conversation, because sometimes I think the best way to lead is by example. When people see that you're praying, then they go, oh, I should pray. Or when they see that it doesn't have to be as complicated. I had one woman email me wanting to know how I keep track of the hundreds of prayer requests, because she's so overwhelmed every time she sits down to pray. And it is intimidating because we hear, especially now, more and more and more and more things that we need to pray about. But sometimes I think there's too much and we don't know where to start. So this gives you just a little thing to hold on to start out. And every person's going to take it differently. And that's what I think is so cool about these prayer prompts is we may start with the same thing, but we're all different enough and we have different situations and different expectations and life experiences, and our prayers are going to go in a different direction, just however God leads us from there.
Yeah. Well, and I see this being used in so many different ways. My mind just immediately starts working. But I think about the new believer who prayer, man, it just seems intimidating to them. And to be able to look in there and think, oh, okay, there's a simple way for me to pray for somebody that maybe lives around the corner, or maybe I'm looking in the mirror at that person, and here's something I can talk to God about. But I also see that mature believer that she has been praying for a really long time, and suddenly this opens up this beautiful new conversation with God on a daily basis. You and I have known each other for a while. And the one question I ask the Lord every single day is, what can I do that will bring joy to you? That's my conversation. I open that up with the Lord every single day. But I see me opening this and him and his anointing and his power and in his, he knows, showing me someone that maybe I wouldn't have seen otherwise, or showing me an aspect of my own heart that I might not have seen otherwise, that he's inviting me in to talk to him about that. So I'm all for the tools, all for the resources that.
And part of it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
The whole, I tried to sort of represent not all, but many of the things that I think prayer is. One is no words, sit in silence and listen to God. One is sing a song of praise. One is, there's about thanksgiving, there's about worship, there's about praying for other people, there's about praying for yourself, there's trying something different. And the whole, to try to show that prayer can be all these things, we limit the definition so much. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it might call to mind somebody you wouldn't know to pray for. So my hope, many of these prayer prompts are things that if you would tag a friend, it could be encouraging to her. So I thought of them, several of them, almost like greeting cards. You put it out there and it's like, pray for somebody who is inspired. You pray for, and it's a way to, you can pray, but then you can let somebody else know that they are being prayed for, which is the best way I think we can love anyone, the best way to show our love to anybody. Yeah. So I tried to do it sort of for all those different things. It's just a way to draw other people in and maybe start that conversation about prayer without pointing to yourself about it.
That's super exciting. So if they, and please buy this book, please order this book, and I would ask you, order 2 or 3 different copies that you can share with others as just a sweet gift. But then how would they use that on social media? How does that work?
Well, it can work. You can take a photograph of an individual prompt and then post that. You can style the book, set it out and put things with it if you're that type of person. And believe it or not, I'm really not. You would think I would be, right?
Yeah.
But the point is to just take one of those and put it out there on social media. This is designed, it's not a copyright infringement. This is designed to be put out there. It's designed for people to see. You can take a photo of a page and text it to a friend and say, this made me think of you this morning. Here's my prayer for you. I would love to see people write out their prayers and tag someone and then somebody else tagging somebody else, because I've been doing prayer prompt calendars since 2015, and that's what I see. I post them online and people tag their friends and it goes from there. So this is just sort of the natural evolution, I think.
Yeah, I have one hanging just right around the corner here. So I love that. So speaking of, that means that there are other tools that they can find. How would they find those tools?
Well, my website is kellyostanley.com, or there is a specific page devoted to this book that is instaprayerbook.com. And but I have monthly free downloads of prayer prompt calendars. I have lock screen downloads that are prompts from the book. I have prayer flip card decks. I have stickers. I have just about anything you can apply prayer prompts to on paper I have done. And I do a printed yearly calendar as well. But this is the first format that's really, I think, made a really good gift. It's just like, it's a small, nice little size, and it's kind of fun, and it's on full color, and I'm proud of it because I'm a graphic designer as well, and I got to design and write the book.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what I love best about that is one of the things that I love about the Lord is I look at the world, I look at people, I look at creation, and I see how beautifully creative God was. Like he just let it go, all colors and all shapes and all types, and I love that about my Creator.
and
And
one of the things, I keep doing that to you, I'm so sorry. I just get
well, I
excited.
was just going to say, and to think about the fact that we can be just as creative with prayer, like that lights me up. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
A few years ago, I realized that, do you remember Venn diagrams from school, the overlapping circles and what's in the middle is that? And I realized that where faith, art, and writing overlap is my sweet spot. That's where I feel like God is using the abilities he gave me. So doing this was just sort of a natural output, I don't know, of what I do, all the things that I do. And I really believe that when we're fortunate enough to be able to know what God is pushing us towards, what he's helping us do, I believe it's almost like our own language of prayer. So this is my prayer. This is my worship. It's so fulfilling to hear from someone and say that I've somehow had an impact on their prayer life, because that's such a sweet and personal thing that I'm sitting here in my house in a small town in Indiana, and I can hear from people all over, and I can connect with them. And that's the whole point of this. It's first to connect with God, but then to connect with other people. So I just think it's really beautiful the way God knits us all together. And it's fun if it can be all fun and colorful and graphic at the same time.
Well, as usual, man, I just love talking with you. I love hearing your heart. I love watching you online. I love watching how that you surprise me with these prayer prompts, and I'll be like, I would have never have thought about that. And it'll show up, and yet it triggers something inside of me. And I think to myself, oh yeah, I know exactly who I can pray for. And like I said, sometimes it's me. Sometimes I'm like, okay, that's hitting me right there in the feels. And so I pray for that. But thank you for sharing this, and thank you for offering a resource that in the midst of a time when we may or may not have words, this begins the conversation with a God who loves all of us like crazy. And prayer is powerful and effective. And I just want to thank you for giving us a tool to be able to connect to that powerful, powerful way of connecting with our God.
Well, thank you. I have long admired you because of your passion for prayer. You do the same thing. You're pushing women, as if I could compare myself, but you try to lead women towards God in prayer. Let them find their own way, but you just help give that start. And I think that's such an admirable thing, because at least I know with you, you're genuine. What you show is really who you are, and I really admire that. You may not feel that way, but it seems that way to those of us who watch you. So I really admire that. So I'm really grateful for this chance to talk to you about it.
Yeah. So buy the book, Insta Prayer, Prayers to Share. Check out her website. I'll put that in.
So you need to look for.
There it is.
So it's hard, yeah.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. So thanks for joining us today. And I hope that I'll put some links where you can find Kelly really easily and find this book. But listen, somewhere today, there's someone on God's heart, and it just might very well be you, that he leads you to pray. And just know that those prayers land in the heart of God, and that they are powerful. and effective.